Muslims around the world celebrate the new Islamic year 1437. 1 million tons of cement to be produced by the year 2017 in the southern province of Biskra. Internationally, European leaders will seek to find a credible response to the continent's worst migration crisis at an emergency summit this week. Those were today's top stories. Thank you for joining us live on Zen News Studios. Yesterday, the 18th tripartite meeting was held for the first time outside the capital Algiers, precisely in the southern province of Biskra. The government, represented by Prime Minister Abdelmalek Sellel, as well as several state ministers, met with the country's top employer organizations, trade unions and social partners to discuss the economic prospects of the coming crucial phase, and the main message derived was that the state is totally able to sell national economy ashore. More details with Lamia Shouch in the following report.
Dark times make for hard work. This is the main message that the government came out with, addressing the citizens, the politicians, as well as the economic experts during the 18th tripartite meeting held for the first time outside the capital, in the southern province of Biskra. This meeting was the golden opportunity for the government to reiterate the state's determination to move forward with its modernization plans and its capacity to move past the current financial crisis following the sharp drop in international oil prices. The choice of the province of Biskra to hold the tripartite meeting is a clear symbol of the state's willingness to guarantee an equal economic and social development opportunity that includes all the regions of the country.
The choice of Biskra is a strong indication of the state's willingness to achieve a balanced growth rate in all different regions of the country.
The tripartite, being an opportunity to evaluate the country's economic situation, was also a platform for the premier to address the pessimists, calling them to stop questioning his government's efforts to steadily sail the country ashore away from the mighty waves of the current crisis.
The pessimists will always question the effectiveness of our efforts. This is evident, but we are determined to face them with a message of hope.
On this occasion, Prime Minister Sellel affirmed the state's long-lasting social welfare policy, all the while denying the rumors stipulating the state's acquisition of the parallel sector's liquidity. And in anticipation of the concretization of the decisions of the 18th tripartite meeting, the development of Algeria's business opportunities remains the primary condition which the success of any economic meeting rests on.
Moving on to another story. The National Maritime Passenger Transport Company has launched this week a line linking Algiers and the eastern province of Bijaya to transport citizens. This alternative to other means of land and air transport will make the trip in 4 hours with a cruising speed of 60 kilometers an hour.
The first international shipping passenger line Algiers-Bijaya was finally inaugurated, waiting for other lines to be extended soon to other coastal provinces of Oran, Mostaganem and Sekikda, according to the Secretary General of the Ministry of Transport. After a 4-hour journey, the ferries already docked with on-board journalists, members of ENMTV, the national company maritime passenger, the Ministry of Transport and the crew. On the platform, a welcoming committee composed of representatives of local authorities, journalists and citizens received the ship. According to the EPB, the Bijaya Port Company, the boat performs a daily shuttle except for Friday with only one journey. The lines which we have for the moment is Algiers-Bijaya, Algiers-Tipaza, Cherchel, Oran, Mostaganem and Arzio, as well as Kikda and Nama. The ferry will double serve. In fact, it will serve first to transport people. We wanted zones where there are factories such as Kikda and Arzio, so as to transport workers as well.
Des usines d'hydrocarbures, etc., comme Skikda, comme Arzeu, vont aussi transporter les travailleurs.
The ticket price is set at 1,400 Algerian dinars with a reduction of 50% for students and people with special needs. A flat rate is set at 3,000 Algerian dinars for families of up to 4 members. With a length of 37.5 meters, the Soreidi has a capacity of 30 knots, 55 kilometers per hour. It can carry up to 206 passengers.
فيه عدة أسعار.
There are many prices. I think the max is 1,400 Algerian dinars, and there is a price of 800 to 1,200. With subscriptions, the prices are less. This new line will help unclog the roads and reduce traffic jam in addition to promoting tourism in the region. More reductions in price are expected so as to enable more people to use it and keep it always operational.
Moving on to another matter. Muslims worldwide are marking the beginning of the new Hijri 1437 on Thursday. The day marks the beginning of Muharram, the first month in the Islamic calendar. It is also known as the day in which Muslims celebrate the Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, God's peace and blessings be upon him, from Mecca to Medina. It commemorates the Hijrah, or the migration of lofty Prophet Muhammad and his followers to the city of Medina in Saudi Arabia back in 622 CE. Still in the same context, the whole Islamic nation worldwide is welcoming the Islamic New Year 1437 celebrations differs from a place to another, which is the case of the residents of the eastern Algerian province of Batna, where some people welcome this special day by preparing different and special traditional dishes. Others see it as a normal day, while others unfortunately are obliged to delay their celebrations because of the high prices of vegetables and fruits. More with Lamia Qasmi.
The Hijri New Year, also known as Islamic New Year, is the day that marks the beginning of a new calendar year and is the day on which the year count is incremented. The first day of the year is observed on the first day of Muharram, the first month in the Islamic calendar. However, celebrations of the Islamic New Year is different in the eastern province of Algeria, Batna, even though some agree and others disagree according to different stories, as some try to celebrate this event the same way, just like the New Year, while others see it forbidden and others do not care at all. Unfortunately, celebrating the first Islamic year that begins in 622 AD with the emigration of Prophet Muhammad from Mecca to Medina, known as the Hijri, is becoming less and less important nowadays. We celebrate the Islamic New Year just like others celebrate the New Year. We prepare for this day all delicious traditional dishes. However, preparing a special meal for the first day of the Islamic New Year is becoming less and less practiced by Oras inhabitants, even though lots of Orasi families do still stick to this tradition, as it is a good opportunity for family gatherings and another opportunity for people to fast and do other religious practices. We used to fast and listen and read the Quran. We prepare shakshukan or slaughter chickens. We celebrate this special day by calling our relatives and families. People don't work. The high prices of vegetables and fruits pushed lots of families to delay the celebration of this special religious day, especially for families whose income is modest. Unfortunately, markets of Batna remained passive and did not show any sign of life, especially during this special day. We prepare shakshuka and couscous, but this year the prices are very high. We could not really afford it. People used to buy lots of meat, chicken to celebrate the Islamic New Year. Now commerce has decreased a lot. This is just a normal day, like other days, no celebration. People do not come neither to buy nor sell. All in all religious duties such as prayer, fasting in the month of Ramadan, and pilgrimage, and the dates of significant events such as celebrating of holy nights and festivals are calculated according to the calendar. Therefore, the Islamic New Year is very important not only for Algerians but to the whole Islamic nation.
Still with our national news, Algerian government has already started implementing its new strategic policy aiming to boost and revive the national production in the country. In fact, one of the objective concerns, the industrial cement factory of Biskra, southern Algeria, which is set to produce 1 million tons of cement by the year 2017. More with Siham Sadou.
Algeria will produce 1 million tons of cement by the year 2017, achieving one of the government's initiatives to boost national production. In fact, Biskra's cement factory in southern Algeria aims to produce cement to build the economic industrial sector, being classified as the second strongest production after hydrocarbons. Substantial increase in demands of this project will be definitely noticed.
إن شاء الله راح يكون مشروع إن شاء الله مفيد للمنطقة وراح نساهم إن شاء الله في.
We hope it will be a successful project in our province, especially by reducing the cement bill. We hope to produce 1 million tons of cement per year. Our first objective is a 1 million ton production of cement that will reduce what equals $65 million for the imported quantity. The second objective is to provide cement to the west and east of Algeria. Third objective consists of hiring around 400 employees in our factory. The export operation will begin in 2017.
These investments aim to launch several objectives to endeavor the new energy production, to boost national production using high sophisticated supplies and providing labor forces in southern regions.
What you need to know is that cement is 100% Algerian production, with two partners carrying Algerian nationalities, who are top experts in construction materials.
In fact, the new government's strategic policy consists of supporting these national entrepreneurs to produce in the country to solve the current economic wobbly situation.
According to the representative of the Electricity and Renewable Energy Company, which is a Sonalgas Group subsidiary, several photovoltaic solar power plant projects with a total capacity of 343 megawatts are under achievement here in Algeria. More on the matter with Mohamed Barzwan in the following report.
According to the representative of the Electricity and Renewable Energy Company, SKTM, a Sonalgas Group subsidiary, these projects are being carried out especially in the provinces of the high plateaus and the country south. SKTM's engineering project chief said recently at a meeting devoted to the ins and outs of renewable energies organized here in Algiers. The power production capacity will thus be enhanced by 90 megawatts from renewable energy sources in the provinces of Sétif, Bouj-Barij, Batna, Mila, and Soukharas. The province of Saïda, Naama, Al-Bayt, and Sidi Bel Abbas will benefit from 4 power plants with a total capacity of 85 megawatts. An additional 90 megawatt capacity will profit to the provinces of Msila, Jalfa, Lawat, and Wargla through the setting up of such plants. 7 solar power plants totaling a 53 megawatt capacity are also underway to cover In Salah, Adrar, and Timimoun. Other solar power plants are also slated to be built in other regions of Algeria's deep south, including Tindouf, Janat, and Taman Rasset.
To our international news. Israeli troops have massively sealed off Jerusalem borders early this morning after the violent crash pointed to Palestinians. 300 Israeli gun-armed soldiers were seen from so far circling all the Palestinian zone, ready to commit more odious crimes, gazing carefully around people, places, at intersections and on main roads, totally ready to shoot.
Israeli terrorist troops have massively sealed off Jerusalem borders early this morning. 300 Israeli gun-armed soldiers were seen from so far, circling all the Palestinian zone, ready to commit more heinous crimes, peering carefully around public places, at intersections and on main roads. Israeli forces have shot and killed 2 more Palestinians following 14 days of violence that have already claimed at least 30 Palestinian lives. Israeli police opened fire on one young Palestinian on Wednesday afternoon at the entrance of Damascus Gate in Jerusalem. Palestinian police claimed that the young man attempted to stop a policeman after they approached him for security search. Just 4 hours later on Wednesday evening, an Israeli policeman shot and killed another 23-year-old Palestinian west of Jerusalem, who they alleged to be an attacker. We're here to support our youngster Palestinian brothers who live in the borders. As you see, we're shooting tear gas to the terrorists, and we try to do our best helping our brothers. Addressing Palestinians for the first time since the violence began, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said in a recorded televised speech he supported peaceful and popular struggle against Israel. Facing this outburst that does not seem to stop, Israel has announced its government approved tough security measures. Among them, firearms will be removed from the Palestinians, and the bodies of the attack's perpetrators will not be returned to their families. What is more is that 19 Palestinians will be deprived from their residence title, East Jerusalem.
As we have previously mentioned in our headlines, bitterly divided European leaders will seek to find a credible response to the continent's worst migration crisis since World War II at an emergency summit this week. For her part, German Chancellor Angela Merkel called on her MPs on Sunday to accept joint responsibility. More details with Karim Fazzakri.
The European Union's leaders meet for a summit in Brussels today with migrants top of the agenda. The divisive issue needs a collective response, but that has proven hard to find until now. And the combined political and economic challenges thrown up by the arrival of so many refugees, mainly from the Middle East and Africa, represents the gravest crisis the EU has had to face in its history until now. Ironically, one of the most important contributions that could be made will come from a non-EU member, Turkey. Without any doubt, Turkey plays a key role in this situation. We will not be able to regulate the flow of refugees if we don't cooperate with Turkey. That includes increasing our support for Turkey in the way that they handle the refugees and humanitarian aid.
Prime Minister. Well, first of all, Mr. Speaker, can I...
Also on the agenda is British Prime Minister David Cameron's EU membership referendum to be held before the end of 2017 and his ideas on EU reforms and concessions which fellow members are keen to hear the details of.
These exchanges.
While tens of thousands seek entry, some already in, notably in Hungary, Greece and the UK, are chafing at what they see as Brussels restrictions and want out. The influx of migrants, most of them fleeing war and poverty in the Middle East, Africa and Asia, has led to bitter recriminations between European government, while the temporary closure of national borders has undermined one of the most tangible achievements of the Union.
And that was Karim Fazzakri reporting. Media sources in the United States suggest that U.S. President Barack Obama is expected to announce a plan Thursday to keep 5,500 U.S. troops in Afghanistan into 2017, and it is ambitious to bring home most American forces from that war-torn country before he leaves office.
According to administration officials, the United States is to extend its military presence in Afghanistan beyond 2016. President Barack Obama will outline the plans later. They are expected to include keeping 5,500 troops in the country when he leaves office in 2017. Originally, all but a small embassy-based force were due to leave by the end of next year. But the U.S. military says more troops will be needed to help Afghan forces counter a growing Taliban threat. There are currently 9,800 USA troops stationed in Afghanistan. Last week, the top U.S. military commander in Afghanistan, General John Campbell, said the U.S. must consider extending its military presence in there beyond 2016. The U.S. forces will be stationed in 4 locations in Kabul, Bagram, Jalalabad and Kandahar. The slowing of the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan means that President Obama will not be able to bring home all U.S. forces before his presidency ends. A U.S. review of its troops' presence there has been underway for some months and is not directly linked to the Taliban's recent success in briefly seizing the town of Kunduz. But that episode illustrated the continuing need for the U.S. training and monitoring of Afghan forces, while Al-Qaeda again operating in Afghanistan and the so-called Islamic State gaining a foothold. Washington is also eager to retain a small number of bases from which it can mount counter-terrorist operations. Whatever the hopes of a full U.S. withdrawal, it now looks as though Washington is said to have a continuing military commitment to Afghanistan, where U.S. air power in particular plays an essential role. President Obama had previously planned to reduce the number of troops left in Afghanistan to about 1,000 by the time he left office in January 2017. After the Taliban surprise attack on Kunduz, Afghan government forces managed to retake control of key areas of the city with the aid of NATO special forces and U.S. airstrikes. But the city's brief capture was seen as a setback from the Afghan authorities under pressure to show they can keep the country secure without the backing of international forces. The southeastern city of Ghazni has also seen fierce clashes between Taliban insurgents and US-trained Afghan troops in recent days. The shift in policy comes at the same time as 3 separate investigations by the US, NATO and Afghan authorities into a US air attack on an MSF-run hospital in Kunduz that killed 22 people. The US said the bombing was a mistake, and President Obama later apologized.
Finally, in tennis, Novak Djokovic reached the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters on Thursday with a 6-2, 6-3 win over Feliciano Lopez of Spain. The top-seeded Serbian player earned his 14th straight victory, dating back to the US Open, and has now won 16 sets in a row. He has been winning so convincingly since the start of the China Open last week. He hasn't surrounded more than 5 games in a single match. On a day when 14 of the world's top 17 players were playing, Andy Murray saved all 7 break points he faced and held on to beat big serving John Isner 6-7, 6-4, 6-4, and Rafa Nadal defeated Canada's Milos Raonic 6-3, 7-6. And that was the end of our news in English, brought to you live from Jt News Studios. Goodbye.